Wanna say Kalalal, Yahweh Hashem Washai, Bashem, Rakak Wadash, to the apostles of great millstone, shalom to all the brothers in the highway and byway, preaching this word in sincerity and in truth with much honesty. As the apostles them get into that this year is the year of prophecy. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do now is get down into another part of the prophecies them of affect you people mainly out here in Jamaica. Yeah? And such thing will affect you so-called Jamaicans, which are predominantly from the tribe of Benjamin. Something that you're ignorant of seeing is famine. Yeah. Whenever I tell so-called Jamaicans say, oh, yo, look, famine are gonna eat Jamaica, them laugh and scoff at that and saying that not possible. You know what I mean? Little did you know that your food supply basically is a very fragile thing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of you people don't know the food reach by your shelf, man. You know what I mean? So it sounds far-fetched to tell us, say, look, there's a famine come to Jamaica. First of all, it's going to be biblical prophecy. You know what I mean? Because the Lord set up the whole scenario that famine catch you so-called Jamaicans, man, because you're a bunch of wicked people, man. You know what I mean? When brothers out there bringing out the word, you scoff at it, you mock at it. You know what I mean? You have brothers all over the internet bringing out this truth, making know that, look, you are from the tribe of Benjamin. See, you come over here to serve slavery. You know what I mean? Along with the other Caribbean islands too. You know what I mean? Apart from Haiti and Dominican Republic and Cuba. See, in Puerto Rico. Basically, you are of the tribe of Benjamin, man. See? And the Lord is very hungry with the people. And guess what? All them things you see that take place in Jamaica is the Lord bringing all them things. I'm going to bring worse. I'm going to bring famine, man. And great unrest, man. You know what I mean? The killings them you see that take place, worse things are going to happen than the few killings you see that take place in Jamaica, man. Seeing some get down in the whole settings, oh, this is going to happen, man. Seeing so first, I play that video here.
There are winners and there are losers from cheaper imports. And for the consumer, it is a better deal to be able to buy less expensive food. But if you take it to the extreme, people have to have a source of income to buy any food. And if there's not production happening in Jamaica, then people aren't going to have any income to buy, or much income at all to buy anything. And so,
because there's a collapse of farming in Jamaica, man. Jamaica that producing that high yield of food, man. See? So how can I say this and we have food to eat every day? Guess what? The majority of food you so-called Jamaicans are eating, it's not from Jamaica, man. It's been shipped to Jamaica. Yeah? So let me continue.
You could think of it from the farmer's perspective that people have lost their source of income, and so what good is it to them if the food in the marketplace is cheaper, unless there's some other endeavor into which they can go to earn that.
And yeah, them cheaper goods basically call it subsidized goods, man. See, we basically up the competition for the Jamaican farmers, man. So therefore, it never profitable enough to produce food again in Jamaica because you have cheaper foods coming in because of certain treaty on the WTO. See, which is the so-called white man's doing. But basically, him has set up the scenario for a lot of you to die. And you don't have an idea that him is doing this, man. Make us totally dependent on food coming from abroad. And we're going to show you how Jamaica can plunge in a state of widespread famine, man. And diseases are going to break out here, man. This is basically prophecy going to happen out here to the side here. A matter of fact, worldwide, this is going to happen. Yeah?
The money that it would take to buy the imported food. So yeah, I guess it's a short-run gain for low-income consumers. Many economists are concerned that the Jamaican economy is becoming a place that doesn't produce much of anything. Well, if you take the example of
the Jamaican economy is become a place that what? Not produce. Them not produce enough. Them not produce nothing at all. You know what I mean? Hey, farming mash up out here, man. Mash up. Remember when I youth, see they used to have everybody around the region, a fellowship region which part we used to live. Golden Vale and all them places they used to have farming booming, man. You know what I mean? People planting banana and all them things that for export and all them deals are done. You know what I mean? So Jamaica planting little to nothing. Yeah?
Imported food. I mean, obviously, recently there have been big spikes in food prices, and the Food and Agriculture Organization and relief organizations have talked about how many people have been pushed into poverty and malnutrition because food has become more expensive. And so clearly, if you've given up your domestic agricultural sector, mostly it's gone.
Which that is taking place right now. Jamaica domestic agricultural sector basically you come like say, yo, it's no more. You know what I mean? So therefore, the people in abroad now can raise the price for them food and we don't have no other alternative more than to buy it for them food. You know what I mean? This is what we get. Yeah, this is what we get.
It's disappeared, then you're very vulnerable to what happens in other countries.
Okay, this is the point. Then you are very vulnerable to what happened in other countries. Before me even go to that vulnerable point there, seeing this is a campaign where from I think about 2009, 2000, around 2009, 2008, them time there. You know what I mean? The Ministry of Agriculture to to intensify eat what you grow campaign. You know what I mean? So they have a campaign out in Jamaica for produce or for plant, like have a backyard garden, plant food. You know, them encouraging us to plant food. See, because the food them are coming from abroad, them lack certain nutrition and we have more nutritious things out here we could have plant. But Jamaicans don't interested to plant things, man. You know what I mean? Seeing everybody want the current trend. And the current trend is not to be a farmer, you see me? Seeing so, people scoff at that. You know what I mean? So right now they might try to encourage Jamaica from back them time they say yo plant food. You know what I mean? Because Jamaica food security, seeing there's no food security for Jamaica, man. Seeing there's no real food security. You know what I mean? Just to show you vulnerable, as she said. Seeing we become vulnerable to what happen in other country. And this is going to lead up to what? Real reason how Jamaica gonna come to the state of famine, man. Because believe it or not, while you're busy in your everyday activity, a third world war is being staged on the planet. You know what I mean? Which gonna culminate with America being nuked by Russia, man. See, and it basically start there in the Middle East, which is prophetic. You know what I mean? Around the region of the river Euphrates, right there in Syria and Turkey region, that's all. Iraq region, Iran region, all them region there, around Saudi Arabia. Look, man, see, the Bible tells us that this is the World War III broke out, man. And basically we're seeing the first shots being fired, man. And it ultimately boil down to the point that America get nuked. But before then, a lot of you people, food supply are cut off, man. See, because the global logistics are going to break down when military activities depend on the waters, man. See? And a lot of you going to die, and nobody never care about you when you die out, man. You ever notice when a hurricane come out or any disaster come out, how quick the supermarket shelves them empty because, look, there's only approximately 3 to 4 days supply of food in your supermarket, man. That's why trucks continue coming to replenish it, man. See? We don't have enough food plants in Jamaica to feed the whole population of Jamaica, man. So guess what gonna happen? People gonna kill each other for food, man. We worrying about gunmen shooting people for nothing at all? See? Well, it'll get more intensified when a man not have no food to eat. Yeah, the Lord is bringing this. So let me play a video because you people don't know history, man. You don't know history. So therefore you don't know what happened in the world when certain situations come up on the planet. So you couldn't care less about the war we fight overseas because you say, yo, as long as it's not fight in Jamaica, it's not gonna affect you. Oh really? Oh really? Look now, Jamaica is totally dependent on food from abroad. You know what I mean? That's what she's saying right here. You know what I mean? So if something, my brother, guess what? Your food will mess up, man. That's what gonna happen. Let me play the video here. Um, cause we tell about foreign. Oh, what's the famine all the while? Jamaica never seen a famine yet. You have people my age that tell me say them see famine all the while. Me never witnessed that. See, you don't know what is real famine, man. Say, the Lord gonna show you a real famine. This is what a real famine will happen. A few years back. Yeah, and guess what? I don't think Jamaica produce food like how India produce food, man. A matter of fact, I think Jamaica going to import all rice and them things from India at some point. You know what I mean? And India see a famine. What say Jamaica? A lot of farming take place in India. India is a major exporter of food. Let me play a video here right here.
Deep into the Second World War, the province of Bengal in British India was struck by a devastating famine. Starvation and resulting disease combined to kill up to 4 million people.
Hey, look, man, let me read a precept here right away, man. You see me? Read a precept here right away. Second Ezra 16 and start from about 17. Second Ezra 16. He said, woe is me, woe is me. Who shall deliver me in those days? Seeing the beginning of sorrows, of great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of hills. What shall I do when these ills shall come? Yeah? You people don't concern what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Your government can't just speak about food security, but you don't know why they're saying it, man. See? Because we're not secure in case of something like this, like a war, the beginning of wars. See? What gonna happen? Famine come with war, man. Famine come with war. But you don't know that, eh? You don't know that. See? Diseases come with famine, man. Plagues. As them say right here, plagues come with famine, man.
Nearly a tenth of Bengal's population. At the time, the Indian and British governments blamed provincial governments for failing to deal with the crisis. More recently, personal correspondence from wartime Britain suggests the real person to blame for all these deaths is Prime Minister Winston Churchill.
Yeah, and guess what, man? You gotta have men in a higher seat, them so-called white man, we're not gonna give a damn about you people when logistics break down, man. And them ships stop coming in with the food, man. Them don't give a damn, man. Them are gonna busy and concentrate on the war effort, man. See? Them are gonna busy and provide for them military men. Making way for the military. Don't give a damn about people, man. Just like what Winston Churchill don't give a damn about them Indians, man. Them same scenarios are gonna repeat again because you people don't know what war is, man.
The famine was devastating. First-hand accounts reveal how people clamored for the starch water in which rice had been boiled. They were reduced to eating leaves and grass. The dead piled up in streets and villages because the living were too weak to cremate them. Parents would throw their children into rivers and wells to spare them a slow, painful death. Others committed suicide to escape the torment. The survivors were either lucky enough to find work in Calcutta or earned food by prostituting themselves. The people of Bengal depended on grain crops, especially wheat and rice, to survive. In late 1942, a cyclone hit the region, destroying a huge amount of planted grain.
And the Lord can do that, man. Just like our cyclone hit India before the scenario, the famine come. Seeing a hurricane can just happen, man, and just destroy all the crops in Jamaica, man. As simple as that, man. And then all them health start break loose to the world and the things that we depend upon stop coming, man. As simple as that. As simple as that, man. A 1-2 punch, man. See?
And triggering an outbreak of fungus that laid waste to yet more crops. As a result, going into 1943, food stocks in Bengal were far lower than normal. Still, those 4 million people could have been saved by a timely supply of food from elsewhere. In 2011, journalist Madhusri Mukherjee uncovered documents which suggest the death toll reached such horrific heights because the Prime Minister of Great Britain, the man in charge of its vast empire, refused to help them. Mukherjee points out that before the famine even loomed, Winston Churchill's policies directly contributed towards it. In 1942, Japan took control of Burma, Bengal's next-door neighbor. To stave off the threat of a Japanese invasion, the British stationed a significant army presence in the region. They evicted about 180,000 farmers and seized 125,000 acres of farmland for the army base. They also seized all boats in the region and banned shipping.
You hear that? All boats in the region and ban shipping. And this war that is coming is going to be a global war where basically the East and the West are going to be engulfed with warfare, man. America, seeing, is going to be invaded, man, in this war, man. According to prophecy, man. World War III are going to take over the Caribbean and every sea around the region, man, and ships. Seeing? I'll get seized or them can't move, man. The military politics are going to deal with the whole thing. You know what I mean? What? Don't give a damn about what happened to regular people in the time when them things are going to happen. See, happened before. See? And guess what? It's going to happen again. In a higher frequency, man.
Despite the fact that a significant proportion of Bengal's food supply came from trade in the bay. Furthermore, Churchill enacted a denial policy in the region, better known as scorched earth. Rice crops and stores of grain were deliberately destroyed by the army, just in case the Japanese invaded.
So them don't give a damn about people in the war effort, man. See? A part of the strategy is to even destroy food, man. So when famine come, it's not a shortage of food itself, but an access to food, man. See? And them creating that scenario right now. See? And it's so fragile right now. In Jamaica right now and anywhere else in the world, where basically feel like everything is alright. The ability to have access to food is so fragile. You would never believe how fragile it is, man. What all the food go through for reach by your kitchen counter. You know what I mean? And just like what happened to Hinda, seeing that happen worldwide. Seeing and Jamaica not gonna miss out on this this trip, man. This is an article. Basically, it said global famine begins. UN announced that the worst food crisis since World War II is happening right now. If you look check out Venezuela and certain places in South America, famine hitting them right now. You have people looking like how you see them people in India looking that way in Venezuela right now. See, and that's just our neighbor right there. You see, we always knew that this world, we always knew that this would start happening earlier. Slovakia. I miss what earlier this month. I wrote about this survey economic problem that are plaguing South America. Because as we said, Venezuela basically in a crisis right now, and certain other places in South America have got through a crisis right now. But up to this point, I have neglected to discuss the horrific famine that are breaking out all over Africa. See, now these are the places in Africa basically where famine basically a breakout. See? Let me jump down to that part here. So the United Nations was formed in 1945, and the UN has just announced that we are facing this year is the what we are facing this year is the largest humanitarian crisis since the creation of the UN. See? And basically this is them line, man. You have enough food in the world to feed everybody. But guess what? Them gonna starve. Just like how Churchill do. And starve out, make other people starve out. See, in the times of war, look, man, I saw the UN and all them friends, them conglomerates, seeing have a all shipment of food to a lot of them places, man, and have come up with all different type of excuse. And a lot of you gonna die, man, according to the scripture. See, the following come from the CNN article. You can read it there, entitled 12 million at risk of starvation in the world. Largest crisis since 1945. The UN. Yeah, whatsoever, you can read that. See, this is coming, man. Empty store shelves. Empty store shelves, man. See, the war is going to be the excuse for you not having food. And rationing are going to be the order of the day. And this way, a lot of you going to have to accept the chip. You know what I mean? And so now I can't eat, man. That's what coming up on the planet. See, the worst way to die. You know what I mean? The Lord are going to bring the worst way to die. And a lot of you people, man, dying of famine. See? Slow, organizing death, as what them saying that clip in here. You know? A slow, organizing death, man. Play it again.
Spare them a slow, painful death. Villages because the living were too weak to cremate them. Parents would throw their children into rivers and wells to spare them a slow, painful death.
Right. Yeah, it's a painful way to die. I'm going to bring out a precept here. It says, look, this is Lamentation 4:9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. See, because of pain, organizing death, man. Seeing slow, slow, painful death. It's like here. For these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruit of the field. The fruits of the field. You know what I mean? You're going to end up and eat leaf off a tree and them things like them people over there in India, man. You know what I mean? See, you're going to end up eat your own children. The scripture tells us you're going to eat your own children and eat all your own aunt. That's the judgment of the Lord plan for you wicked ass Jamaican. All they love to do for party. You know what I mean? Being wicked every day. You know what I mean? Being proudful, full of pride. You know what I mean? Oh, we're blessed. Yesterday, me, you know, I say, oh, Jamaica is a blessed place. So much killing are going. Look, man, if you're blessed, so much killing for you going if you're the blessed, man. The only place Benjamin blessed, seeing, is when the Lord is going to bring you into the kingdom. You know what I mean? The kingdom of heaven, man. Now the blessing now come from Jamaica. Yeah? So that was a Kalalal, Yahweh Hashem Arshai, double answer to the apostles of Great Millstone. Yeah. Kalalal, Yahweh Hashem Arshai, Hashem Raka Kodash, double answer to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the brothers in the highway and by preaching this word in sincerity and truth. Shalom.